In the 1630s and 1640s, 5 sisters were born in Rome who would change history. They were from a very old noble family and were the nieces of the most powerful man in France. Because they were beautiful and clever, they grew up to marry some of the most famous leaders in Europe. Join me as we explore the exciting and messy lives of the Mancini sisters. The Mancini sisters were some of the most interesting siblings to ever live in Europe. Their father was a baron from a very old family in Rome. This wasn't just any family. They claimed their ancestors were important leaders all the way back in the days of the Roman Republic. Their mother was also from Rome, but she wasn't as famous until she married their father in 1634. That marriage happened because of her brother, Julio, who is better known as Cardinal Mazarin. He started as a simple worker for the Pope, but he was very smart and eventually became a cardinal. Later, he moved to France and became the main helper to the famous Sun King, Louis XIV. He had almost total power over the country, and he used that power to help his nieces find great success. The sisters' parents had 10 children in total, 3 boys and 7 girls. 2 of the boys died young, leaving only their brother Philippe to become a soldier, but it was the girls who really became famous. 5 of the 7 daughters lived to be adults. Their names were Laura, Olympia, Marie, Hortense, and the youngest, Marie Anne. They were all born within 13 years of each other. Together, these sisters would break the rules and shock everyone in Europe with their drama. Laura was the oldest sister, born on May 6, 1836. She grew up in Rome as a wealthy noble girl. Back then, the big families in Rome were very important, and many of them had relatives who were popes or cardinals. Luckily for Laura, things weren't as violent as they used to be, though she did have to worry about the plague, which was a scary sickness at the time. In 1651, when she was only 15, Laura was married to a man named Louis, who was 38. Her uncle arranged the wedding from Paris. Her new husband was very important because he was the grandson of a king. This made Laura a cousin-in-law to the King of France. They had 3 sons together. Shortly after the wedding, the whole Mancini family moved to Paris because their father had died. Their uncle, the cardinal, told them to leave Rome behind and start a new life in France. In Paris, Laura was given a very high title, but things weren't easy at first. People in France didn't like her uncle, the cardinal, so they wrote mean poems calling the sisters snakes. Along with 2 of their cousins, the 7 girls were nicknamed the Mazarinettes. One famous leader said that even though the girls weren't rich yet, they would soon have big castles, lots of jewels, and very high ranks. Sadly, Laura didn't get to see much of this. She died in 1657 after her 3rd baby was born. She was only 20 years old. The next sister was Olympia, born in 1638. When the family moved to France, she became a big part of her uncle's plans. Since the cardinal couldn't have his own kids, he used his nieces to build a powerful family line. In 1657, Olympia married a prince from a family that ruled land between France and Italy. They had 8 children together. Olympia was known for being a bit of a troublemaker. She was very close to the king and loved to play power games at the palace. But things got really bad in 1679. She was accused of being part of a scary plot involving poisons. People thought she was trying to get rid of the king's other friends using a fortune teller. This was a giant scandal where many people were arrested. Olympia was forced to leave France and lived her final years in Belgium, dying in 1708 at the age of 70. Marie was the middle sister, born in 1639. She was very beautiful, and it is said that King Louis XIV was truly in love with her. He even wanted to marry her. But his helpers told him he had to marry a princess from another country instead. The king cried because he had to choose his kingdom over his heart. To keep her away from the king, Marie was sent back to Italy to marry a prince named Lorenzo. They got married in 1661 and had 3 sons, but Marie was never happy in her marriage. Eventually, she left her husband and went to live with her sister, Hortense. They both became famous for writing books about their lives. Marie traveled and wrote for a long time until she died in Italy at age 75. Hortense was born in 1646 and was just a baby when the family moved to Paris. When she was young, there were talks about her marrying the future king of England, but it didn't happen. After her uncle died, she married a very rich man named Armand. But Armand was not a nice husband. He was very jealous and even did mean things like destroying beautiful art and treating servants badly. Hortense ran away from him in 1668. The King of France helped her, and she eventually moved to England. There, she met the King of England again and became one of his favorites. She was known for being very bold and even had some famous arguments at the palace. Like her sister Marie, she wrote a book about her life. She died in England in 1999. After she died, her husband strangely took her body on a tour around France before finally burying her. The youngest sister was Marie Anne, born in 1449. She was the spoiled favorite of the family and was known for being very funny and bright. Even as a child, she had to help take care of her older sister's kids. She got married in 1662 to a duke who loved her very much. They had 7 children and a very happy marriage. Like her sister Olympia, Marie Anne was also accused in the poison scandal. But unlike her sister, she stood up in court and defended herself so well that the French people cheered for her. She was allowed to come back to the king's giant new palace at Versailles. Later in life, she chose to live a quiet life in the countryside. The Mancini sisters lived wild lives, but they also had famous children. One of Laura's sons became a top military leader in France. One of Olympia's sons became one of the most famous generals in all of Europe. One of Marie's sons was a great supporter of art in Italy. The most amazing part of the story is that Hortense's great-grandchildren were also 5 famous sisters. They followed in the footsteps of their Mancini ancestors and became very important in the French palace 100 years later. Thank you so much for watching this video on the Mancini sisters. I hope you found their stories interesting. Let me know which sister's life you liked best in the comments below. If you have any other ideas for videos, tell me. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss the next Lost Whispers. I'll see you then.